Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 28th of December, 2023. So, yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this. Not the last, but the pre-last session with me here. So, yes, I mean, tomorrow is going to be the last one this year. Yeah, let's have a look at the charts. I mean, that's what we always do here. So yes, guys, we'll have a look at the markets, what's happening, see, how we can position ourselves. And as the title, as the heading of this video says, that yes, the markets are quiet, but there is some value in there. So look, before we go further, as always, just quick kind of read through our risk disclaimer. That's what we need to do. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, and we'll try to help you and we'll try to assist you. So, right, now then, let's jump into the charts. So basically, what's happening here? Here we have a situation where Nikkei is stuck. It's stuck below that hurdle that I talked about last week before kind of going on a break. Yes, I mean, I talked about this little hurdle, this little barrier here, the 33,868. Still providing good resistance. So basically, I need to see that pop. I need to see that move above this hurdle, above this area. If I can get that, great. I'll get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. Look, we did get some data this morning from Japan. Let me just industrial production forecast. Large retailers' sales numbers. So basically, those came out like better than not the forecast, because apparently there were no forecasts, but better than the previous. So yeah, we'll take that. That's a good thing. So yes, but the Nikkei is still kind of stuck. It's still not really doing much. So yeah, we're waiting for that trigger. I think it's kind of waiting maybe for the US or Europe to do something, because again, China is moving, and I'll get to that in a bit. But yes, I mean, tomorrow, in terms of Friday, we don't have much data from Japan. So basically, yes, I mean, I think it's going to remain subject to what's happening in the top indices, basically. So now then, so yes, that's the situation with Nikkei. Unfortunately, there's not much to add. Oh, by the way, I'm going through the instruments that I picked up on Friday, because there's a big list. So I want to just kind of recap on what happened during that with those instruments during this whole period. But yeah, I think it will be quite interesting. So yes, Nikkei 225, that's the situation, that's the game plan. So if you're looking for some higher levels, yep, I need that pop above this highlighted zone here on the top in order to consider higher levels, because a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. Then we could hit the current highest point of this year. And this is the question, actually. Look, will we be able to actually create something like a new top for this year? Because we have today, tomorrow, and that's it. And that's it, guys. So before like New Year. So will we be able to hit that new highest point? Well, we'll see. Like I said, again, at the moment, it's a tricky one, and something tells me that this might remain like this, and maybe we'll do that next year, but it will be already like the last year's high, basically. So again, not saying anything. We still have, like I said, 2 days of 2 days of trading here. So let's see if we can go for that all-time for that highest point, not the all-time high, but the highest point of this year. China index, there we go. Boom, fantastic, good move here to the upside. Yes, great stuff. What can I say here? Yes, I mean, at the moment, I think that the positivity here, I mean, people are saying that the positivity here is coming from the fact that that there are expectations for the Fed to cut rates. Yes, there are, but it's like you're trying to find some sort of justification of why it's going higher. To be honest, in my opinion, I mean, I think that yes, we had enough. We had enough of downside. Maybe the Chinese economy are getting, like, the Chinese government are trying to boost the stock market a little bit here. So then that's what we're getting. Look, from the technical perspective, it's working out perfectly, because what I said to you before was that if we do climb back above this 11,158 territory, we stay above it, then yes, I will consider a move towards the upper side of this falling channel. And yes, I mean, that's what we are getting right now. So let me just get rid of this hurdle. I don't think that it's needed anymore. I think we can mark it here. But yes, just bear with me one moment. So there we go. So this is the another hurdle that I am keeping an eye on, the 11,275. So if we cleared it, fantastic. Look, I talked about this upper side of the falling channel, and I'm going to stick to that, and I'm going to aim for that one for now, and we'll go from there. If we clear it, great, wonderful. We could go for some higher levels here, and we could go for that 11,883, 925 levels, something like that, or in general that psychological 12,000 mark, which is not far from my 100-day EMA here on my chart. So yes, I mean, for now, long story short, I would say if you are looking for some higher levels, then wait a little bit, because again, I'm still aiming for the upside, don't get me wrong, but only up until this upper side of the falling channel, and then I'll take it from there. If we clear it, great, but if we don't, and we continue to trade inside the pattern, then yes, the trend remains to the downside. ASX 200 so continues to rally. I mean, this one, look at this one. So basically, we've reached the 7,600 zone here. We've pierced through that one, and we're currently trading above it. So what does that mean? Does that mean that, first of all, mission accomplished, first of all, because this is what I was targeting initially, the 7,600 zone, we cleared it, and now my question is, can we see a further move north? Well, at the moment, that's a tricky one. Let me just double check something here. ASX 200. Yeah, and let me just see if that's gonna. Okay. Okay. No, that's not the case, because every broker has its own. So just wanted to double check this. No, okay. Right, coming back to this one, right. Basically, what I can see here, yes, we've cleared the highest point of 2022. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the all-time high. So, Fractal Saint, thank you very much. Thank you, really appreciate that. So, trying to keep it nice and tidy. And that's what I always say to everybody. Keep it simple, keep it, short and simple, and it's okay. Look, but yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So ASX 200. So that's, like I said, that's my situation here, is that we've cleared the 7,600 zone. We are now staying above it. So in a way, there is a chance for going further north. However, I don't like it. I don't like picking up something which, when it's let's say somewhere at the all-time high or something like that. So okay, I get it. It might continue still drifting higher, but how much more? So that's why I need some sort of a setback. I need some sort of a a move back down. So I think that this is what others are viewing as well, or however others are viewing this. So you don't pick it up at this point. I mean, you wait until it gets correction, and then you do something about it. So even, let's say, with these short moves here, right? You saw a little correction lower here. We got a nice little yes, a little correction, and we picked it up on this one, and there we go, boom, it pushed higher, tested my 7,600 zone, and now I'm gonna be chilling, and I'm gonna be watching what's gonna happen further. At the moment, yes, it seems like it wants to go further north, but how much more, we don't know. So that's why I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm just gonna observe the price action. Once I start seeing, let's say, this one moving lower, and let's say if it falls and breaks below this upside support line drawn from the low of the 16th of December, then yes, I will consider a bit of a correction here to the downside. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, this one's an animal, honestly. Look at this. These are the futures, by the way, not the cash, but the futures. So for now, ignore the Fibonacci. I've explained this in my previous sessions, but I'll explain that as well again. So basically, Jiggly G, good night. Yes, good night. Good night to you too. Enjoy all. Yes, good night. Have a nice evening. Have a nice morning. I think is going to be soon for you. So yes, good morning in advance. Anyway, so coming back to this situation here. So I talked about this, and I said to you, look, 38,000. That's what I was aiming for. That's the Fibonacci extension here, and I've reached that one. We are currently testing it again. My question is, can it continue to provide resistance and drift back down? Well, ideally, I would like to see something like that, of course. But look, this is where my other Fibonacci comes in, the regular one, and with the retracements. So if we are looking at 23.6 as a potential area of retracement, or potential area to test, and it also aligns perfectly, and this is where I have actually aligned it. This is where I'm trying to see something where it's not probably, but hey, don't judge, because the market does like this kind of symbolism thing. So, the 23.6, it aligns perfectly with my the all-time high, the previous all-time high. And why not? But for that, in order to align this, for that, you need to see this index going a little bit higher towards maybe the 38,200 zone, something like that. And then if it finds good resistance somewhere around here, then yes, another decline could be possible. So, long story short, at the moment, I'm keeping an eye on the 38,000 mark. If it holds, I'm going to consider a bit of a retracement back down. So, look, you can make it a little bit your life a little bit more simple. Let's say keep your eyes on the 37,663. If we fall back below it, then yes, I will consider a move to the downside here towards that 23.6. And again, this 23.6 then in that case won't be here. It will be somewhere here. But yeah, look, I'm not rushing into things yet. So for now, I'm just kind of keeping this as a possible idea, this idea where we could see a further move north. And again, look, we still have 2 days left of trading, and yes, the market continues to create those all-time highs. I mean, that is just insane. I mean, looking at where we have started from the end of October, and all the way here, I mean, 17.5%. That's wow. So almost 17.5%, I would say. So this here, this 38,200 zone will be somewhere like 17.8, something like that percent. But still, that's like wow. That's now that's an investment. I mean, okay. Anyway, long story short, for now, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this. Eventually, everything what goes up must come down. So we don't know when, but looking at this picture here, I don't know. I mean, it's way too overextended to the upside. However, we cannot say anything. It can still go higher. But again, let's not rush into things. Look, of course, a lot of things are getting fueled right now by the fact that the Fed is expecting 3 rate cuts by June, by mid-June, by by kind of, yes, by basically this is what they came out during the last meeting on the 13th of December. Yes, looking at the current situation here, we're in the range of between the 525 to 550, and yes, the expectation now on the for the 67% expectation is that by mid-June we will be somewhere at 400 between 4.5 and 4.75. So, okay, look, that's a lot, of course, but if the market continues to rally like this, and this means that maybe inflation could tick back up a little bit, this is where the Fed could start saying, look, oh, you know what, we need to come back, and tighten our grip over the or over the economy. But this is perfect. I mean, for them, I think that was a beautiful strategic move, because look, everybody was like at the end of the year. Oh, by the way, Fractal saying that's a lot. I mean, I'm talking about, you're probably referring to the 17% in the Dow. But look, just to let everybody know, whenever you're commenting, sometimes it kind of lags a little bit, and that's why maybe I've already moved away from that topic, and the comment just came through, so it's sometimes a little bit difficult. So just try to be a little bit maybe more specific sometimes, what are you referring to? But yeah, I'll really appreciate that, because so that we wouldn't get lost in this kind of, well, not translation, but this lost in this kind of abundance of information. But look, coming back, what I wanted to say is that for the Fed, I think that they've made a beautiful strategic move. So they don't want to go for rate hikes anymore. And they need to go with something. They need to somehow control the economy. So, for example, right now before announcing that there will be 3 rate cuts next year by mid-June, they said that there were going to be 2, and then they said there's going to be 3. And then the market started, wow, it's great, for the stock market, it's fantastic, and started running higher. Now, if the stock market continues to run higher, that means that, yes, it could, put pressure on inflation again, and inflation could start picking up. This is what the Fed doesn't want. So that means that, look, they don't want to go for, normally they would need to increase interest rates, right? So they would increase interest rates, and this is where the inflation would be controlled, and this is where the stock market could go lower. Now, without hurting the stock market, what they can do is just basically saying that look, they said that they've risen the bar of rate cuts. They're like, wow, that's like expectation, like 3 rate cuts. Wow, amazing, So the market is rallying now, and now next time they will see that if the inflation is picking up and the stock market is rallying, they will say just, you know what? Actually, we're not going to go for 3 rate cuts. We're going to go for 2 rate cuts, and then the stock market gets scared, and then everything pulls back a little bit. So that's the beautiful method of controlling the potentially controlling inflation, controlling the stock market, so it wouldn't go wild, and it wouldn't create like a bubble or something like that. So that's what I'm saying. So, or they might say, you know what, we're going to just stick to 1 rate cut. I think that would be enough, and then the stock market could plummet on that news. So it's basically, you're not increasing rates, you're not harming any a lot. You're just basically playing on the expectations. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful move. Hey, let's wait and see. Let's see if that's going to work out. Now, the S&P 500. So this one, that one continues to. It created an all-time high, and it's creating it again. So, look, I talked about my Fibonacci extension here, so I think it's time to get rid of it, unless I want to draw it somehow differently, but no, it's like trying to find something where it's not, so that's why I'm not gonna do anything here much with that one. But instead, what I can do here is I'm gonna keep an eye on the previous all-time high, which is around the 4,808 zone. If we do fall back below it, then yes, great, more sellers here could join in, and we could see maybe a drift towards the this level here, the low that we reached here on the 20th of December, near the 4,743, and that's not far from the upside support line drawn from the low of the 10th of November. Now, don't get me wrong, this upside line is a little bit on the tentative side, but hey, For now, it could be still a nice, good target. Look, in terms of the upside, I would say this way, that as long as we stay above this barrier right here, there we go. So this 4,830, then yes, we could continue targeting the upside because we're currently in uncharted territory. We're on the futures here. We're in uncharted territory, so I don't know. Like, I mean, we can aim for the 4,900 right now, but okay, that's, I don't know, that's if that's too much or not, but look, I think that we are due for a correction at some point, but I think that we have not taken a lot of short sellers yet. So, you know, I think that that's what the market is doing, taking a lot of short sellers, and then we could see maybe a bit of a, you know, a drift back down when they're, you know. So that's why wait for the signal, guys. At the moment, I'm not seeing the signal. It could still go higher, so let's not rush into things. NASDAQ 100. So this is something that I've mentioned previously, and I talked about this potential idea of head and shoulders pattern, but the previous all-time high did a good job and provided good support here, looking good. We drifted higher. From there, we pushed into new all-time high. So this idea of a head and shoulders pattern, look, maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not going to work. Let's, you know, not kind of rush into things here. So, long story short, for now, I will say it this way. For now, I am keeping an eye on this territory here, this 16,918. I do like that as a good area of support. You can also keep your eyes on the this little hurdle, the high of the 20th of December. Near the 17,073 territory. So that's on the futures. If we do remain above that, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. At the moment, it is a little bit of a difficult one here. So yeah, I mean, there could still drift further north, but if we start falling below that hurdle, below that area, yes, I will consider a move lower. The German index, DAX, this one's stuck. I mean, look, the German index does like to range. And I keep on saying this, and I said this for this whole year. I mean, it does like to do these little ranges and stuff, you know. So, okay, and this is what we're seeing right now. So, long story short, if you're looking for some lower levels, a break through the 16,811 zone here is required. If you are looking at the at some higher levels, then a push above that psychological 17,000 mark on the futures, by the way. These are the futures, so it's needed. So we need to see a push through one of these barriers in order to consider the next short-term directional move. Now, look, if the tricky bit with the downside here is that if we do fall below the 16,811, my next target is actually the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. After reaching the all-time high here, we could end up testing that 23.6, which is, by the way, the previous all-time high. So yeah, good potential target. I think that initially that could be a good one, but later on we'll see. If we break this, then yes, we'll go lower. But for the upside, a push above the 17,000 here is required. If we can get that move, then yes, my next target is the 17,200 zone, marked by the highest point of December, and then we will go from there. The FTSE 100. So with the FTSE, I think that the UK has a short week this week. I mean, today they're fully operational, but tomorrow, yes, early close. So if you are trading something New Zealand related, something FTSE related, England, United Kingdom related. So yes, I mean, for you to know that tomorrow they will have an early close. So basically, today is kind of the final full day of trading for the FTSE 100 this year. So let's see what's going to happen here. At the moment, everything's working according to the plan, because what I said to you before, that if we do pop and stay above this area, which is between the 7,723.34 levels here, then yes, my next target is the 7,810, and then we'll go from there. So that's going to be my next target. That's the highest point, the current high. Is that the current high? Just a sec. No, that's not the highest point of this year. No, that's the highest point of September. Good potential target. Let's see if we can reach that. Then, of course, we'll target those other levels and together with the highest point of this year. But hey, for now, let's go slowly on this one, step by step, and let's not rush into things. So, and then we will go from there. Now, jumping into oh, and by the way, in terms of the downside, if we do fall back below this highlighted zone right here, I will consider a bit of a retracement here to the downside. US dollar. So we are aiming for that psychological 100 level, guys. And look at this. I mean, first of all, it's a very nice, it's playing out beautifully, because what I talked about this one, I said to you that if we do fall and stay below the 101.55 territory right here, I will aim for the downside, and my next target will be this 100.32 zone, marked by the low of the 27th of July. Look, I do have this little level here, the lowest point of July in general, or the lowest point, the current lowest point of this year. I doubt that we will hit the level here unless something really crazy happens in today and tomorrow. Then yes, I will aim for the lowest point of this year. But at the moment, I think that we might stall somewhere around here, and then yeah, we'll leave it for next year, and then we'll go from there. Sorry about that. Had to have a little bit of sip of tea. So that's, like I said, that's the situation at the moment. Yes, I'm targeting this, and maybe it could get closer to the current lowest point of this year by, let's say, traveling to the 99 zone. But look, 99.87, something like that. But of course, at the moment, the question is like, this year, will we see the 100? Something tells me that we will, so I'll be very careful with this one right now. So, like I said, in the moment, basically, I'm going to be aiming for the 100.32 territory. Yes, that's first, and then I will target the 100 zone. So, and then we'll take it from there, basically. Now, let's have a look at gold. I mean, another animal. Honestly, look at this. Let me just adjust a few things here, guys. So this hurdle, yes, I mean, needs to go here a little bit, because what I want to do here is I want to mark this barrier, this 2090 zone, which we are trading below it a little bit right now. Look, if we do clear that one, then of course I'm aiming for that 2100 zone. If we clear the 2100, then I'm aiming for the current all-time high, which is around the 2144. I mean, I doubt that we will reach this barrier this year. I somehow think that there could still be a bit of a retracement. However, the problem here is that the US dollar is drifting lower, and it's kind of moving towards that psychological 100 level. So if that's the case, then we could see basically gold pushing a little bit further north. So at the moment, look, I'm going to be very careful with gold. Of course, there is a temptation, I mean, for both sides here, to the upside and to the downside, to be honest, because it has a chance to go higher, especially if it clears and pushes above the 2090 zone. But if it starts falling back below this little hurdle, this is the one that I'm watching, the 2081 zone. If we do fall and stay below it, I will be a little bit more happy, because then maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. And then we could aim for that 2040 zone, and then we'll go from there, basically. But at the moment, we are at a tricky spot. I don't really recommend doing anything with this one right now, so I'm just going to continue observing the price action. But if we start falling and we stay below the 2081 zone, I will start looking at some maybe lower levels slightly. Silver, very quickly on that one. So yes, this one's stuck. The Fibonacci's are kind of working, I would say. We're just kind of oscillating around that 50% retracement, so that's absolutely fine. We're stuck in the area between the 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci and the 61.8% retracement on the Fibonacci here. So yes, we are stuck in here in this little zone. So if you're looking for some higher levels, I think that the most logical approach here would be to wait for a push above the 61.8. If you're looking for some lower levels, then well, a drop below the 38.2 here is needed. If we do fall below this zone, then yes, great, more sellers here could join in, and we could aim for a larger correction to the downside. Let's jump into copper. Copper finally did what I asked it to do. So copper is pushing above the 3.93 territory right here, so that's great. So if it confirmed the forthcoming higher high, recent forthcoming higher high, and my next target is the psychological 4 level. That's it. Honestly, I'm not going to really do anything else here. We do have the 4.02 territory, which is near the highest point of July, which is also a good target. But hey, let's go for that psychological 4 level first. In terms of the downside on copper, we need to see, well, this is where I will shift the level a little bit. We need to see a break of this upside line. And then I will consider a bit of a larger correction here to the downside towards the 200-day EMA. Oil, let's jump into oil. So, looking at the picture here, yes, I mean, I would like to see a push above this 50-day EMA, and if we do get a nice kind of clearance, kind of jump above it, then yes, great, more buyers here could join in. So basically for oil, I mean, look, we broke the upper side of the falling channel. That's great. That's a bullish indication. Now, what I need here again is a push above the 50-day EMA. So far, it's providing good resistance. And if we jump and stay above it, then yes, my next target is the 100 and the 200-day EMAs together with this 79.77 level, which I talked about previously, and I still have it on the chart. So that's what I'm going to be targeting here. So in terms of the downside, a drop back below the upper side of the falling channel may signal an opportunity for the bears again, and we could see, you know, this one drifting lower maybe. So yes, long story short, at the moment I am just gonna keep an eye on this downside line. And if we somehow fall and stay below it, then yes, a bit of a move back down here could be possible. Natural gas, very quickly on that one. So yes, this one's stuck, and I think that I need to redraw this chart a little bit. So you know what? Let me get rid of everything. There's way too many lines, and let's have a fresh look. First of all, I want to mark the current kind of lowest point here, which is around 2, just slightly below 2 level. Recently this year, recently this year, that's the lowest point in general. That was the lowest point of this year. But recently, we've tested the 2.2324 zone right here, and that's the current lowest point of December. Now, we rebounded from this territory, we moved higher, and we've went and tested. Let me just double check something. So that's the highest point of December right here. But last week we've ended up testing the 2.61 zone. So we found a good found some resistance around here. From there we drifted lower, and we found some support. On Tuesday, we found some support near the 2.35 zone. So basically, we drifted lower. We found the support near the 2.24 zone. We rebounded, pushed higher, 2.62. That's what we've tested. We found good resistance, drifted back down. Do we have like a zigzag here? Elliot's. Let me just because I want to grab. Extended line. You know what? I think maybe I'll grab the Elliott wave or something like that. Yeah. Just a sec. Yeah, let's grab this one. I mean, look, in December, this was the move in December. This, and this, right? And now kind of yeah, so now, I mean, what I'm looking at here is that maybe we could end up going actually this way. So we've tested this, so maybe we could end up pushing higher. I mean, apologies for this. This is not meant to draw it this way. I just wanted to mark. So basically, we've moved lower, then we rebounded, then we pushed back down again. We kind of created a higher low. And now the question is, can we go for a higher high? Well, that's a good question, of course, but for that one, we would need to overcome the 2.62 territory. So in other words, if you're looking for some for some higher levels, then wait for a push above the 2.62 territory, and then we could go from there. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yes, potentially attract more buyers into the game. For the downside, I would really prefer to wait for a drop below the 2.24 zone right here, and then kind of go lower, because forthcoming lower low then will be confirmed, and we could target the all-time low here, and yes, we could go from there. Or actually, maybe it's not the all-time low. Actually, no, it's not the all-time low. It's the lowest point of this year. Cotton. So just a quick update. So yes, I'm still waiting for that one to move above the 50-day EMA in order to go a little bit to the upside here. For the downside, a drop below this lower side of the range, because don't forget that overall we're in this kind of weirdly shaped range, but hey, it's still a range. So if we do drop below this territory, we already did once, but it didn't stay, because on the weekly chart we saw just a false breakout. So basically, for this specific commodity, just keep your eyes on the weekly chart instead. So yes, we're rebounding from the lower side. Let's see if we can push back up. But here on the daily, I'm looking at this potential kind of 50-day EMA as a trigger. So if we do pop above it, then yes, I'll go a little bit higher. Sugar finally found some support. So it found some support around here near the low of the 16th of March, and that's not the lowest point of March. No, that's the low of the 16th of March. Good area, 20.36, something like that. Almost found support near the psychological 20 zone, rebounded, and now the question is, can we go lower again? Well, to be honest, I think that we're maybe due for a bit of a correction here back to the upside. And in general, that would be quite healthy for this instrument. So let's have a look. If we draw it from the highest point of November to the lowest point of December, then we'll see that the 23.6 beautifully aligns with my little hurdle here. The 21.89 zone, roughly around here. Basically, we're looking at the 22 zone. So a nice rebound from the psychological 20 zone. Yep, could be a nice good move here towards the 22 territory. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for, as long as we remain above the psychological $20 mark. Bitcoin, let's jump into cryptos. So yes, Bitcoin. So first of all, I need to get rid of this level. No longer needed. I think it's just in the way. Instead, I will keep an eye on the 44,779 zone here. Roughly, guys. Basically, the highest point of December. If we do clear that one, then yes, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. And yes, we could go for some nice higher levels, especially for this 48,235 zone, or basically, in other words, the highest point of March of last year. Not this year, last year. So that's going to be the next target. But I need that clearance of the highest point, the current highest point of December 1st. If we do clear this upside line, then yes, a bit of a corrective move here could be possible. Bitcoin Cash, this one's doing much better, and I like Bitcoin Cash. And look at this beautiful thing. So first of all, this upside line no longer needed. Instead, I think it's sticking to the range thing. However, don't get way too excited yet, because yes, it's pushing and kind of breaking the upper side of the range right now. So, but let's see if we're gonna stay above that, because if we look at the weekly as well, I mean, yeah, this is where the 100-day EMA is running on the weekly chart, on my chart, by the way. So if we stay above this, then yes, we could go further north. We could go higher. We could go for maybe this little hurdle, this highest point of June of this year, near the 329. Let's round it up here a little bit. That could be a nice good target. So look, for now, we need to see if we're going to stay above this barrier, this 270 zone. If we stay, great, I will go further north. In terms of the downside, within the range here, a drop below the 245 territory might signal a bit of a move lower towards the lower side of the range. Ethereum, so there we go, a nice good pop. And this is what I'm saying, don't rush, guys. Don't rush into anything because look, we popped higher, we cleared my 2,300 zone again, and yes, we ended up testing my other target, the 2,407 zone. So, long story short, my question is, first of all, mission accomplished because this was my target, and now my next question is, can we see a further move north? Can we see a push above that 2,408 zone? If we can, great. I will consider a move lower. If we can, not lower, higher. If we do push above this barrier and stay above it, then yes, I'll consider a move higher. But if I'm considering some moves lower to the downside, then I need to see a break of this steeper upside line here drawn from the low of the 3rd of November. So this downside line can go, but we can stick to this upside line instead. If we do fall below it, then yes, I will consider a larger correction to the downside towards this other upside line drawn from the low of the 27th of October. Litecoin, so there we go. We are pushing nicely to the upside. We cleared my 200-day EMA, so now my next target is the 79.55 level marked by the current highest point of December. That's what I'm aiming for now. Then if we clear it, then yes, I will aim for the upper side of the rising channel, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, I would like to see a move below the lower side of the rising channel. Until I get that, then yes, I mean, you can see that we had a bit of a false breakout here moment. So yes, we had a bit of a tease, and there we go, clearly visible on the weekly chart. So we rebounded, and we're now pushing back up. So if we do somehow reverse sharply to the downside and fall below the lower side of the rising channel, then yes, great. More sellers here could join in. Dogecoin is looking quite attractive here as well. And yes, I mean, if we do break the upside line, then yes, great. More sellers here could join in. So with Dogecoin, look, you need to wait. You need to keep an eye on Elon Musk's Twitter account, X account. And yes, I mean, you know, this one moves mainly. This Elon coin moves only what Musk says. So most of the time, but but okay, it's part of the game. So yes, that's my little situation here with Dogecoin. For the upside, I need to see a push above that psychological 0.10 zone, and then yeah, we could go higher. Let's jump into Forex very quickly before I run out of time. Here, AUDUSD. So good move here. We cleared the 0.6821 zone. I talked about this on Friday, so I said to wait for that clearance here in order to go higher, in order to aim for the highest point of July and the highest point of June. So they're relatively close. In general, we're not far from that 0.69 zone. So initially, that's my target. So as long as we remain above the 0.6821 zone right here, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. In terms of the downside, drop below the 0.6795 territory here for me is required in order to consider a larger correction to the downside. AUDNZD, looking at the picture here, I can see that we are stuck. We are stuck, and this is one of my favorite pairs. And somehow it seems like we might be stuck until the end of this year. Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm not kind of saying that that's going to happen or not. But at the moment, it's kind of seemed like that. So for me, the upside scenario, I need to see a push above the 200-day EMA right here, which is on my chart at the moment roughly around the 1.0812. If we can get a nice clearance of that one, this may attract more buyers into the game, and we could aim for some higher levels. For the downside, I need to drop below the 1.0773 territory right here, and then we could, this is another thing. Maybe actually instead we could wait for a drop below the crossroads, of these two trend lines, and maybe that could be a little bit better in a way. So let's kind of maybe stick to that idea instead. AUDCAD, another interesting one, and so far it's we're waiting. So far, we're waiting because I need to see a clearance of this 0.9061 zone here. If we do get a nice push above that, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in. We could target the 0.9117 territory, and then we'll take it from there. The 0.9232 level here is also a nice, good target. So long story short, for now, if you're looking for some higher levels, then wait at least for a push above the 0.9061 territory again. And we need to see the body of the daily candle staying above it. For the downside, pretty straightforward. A break of this upside line is required. NZDCHF. There we go. Finally, we are getting out of the box. So we are getting out of the box through the lower side of it. And there we go. So far, so good. Look, I talked about this. I said to you that in order for me to go lower, yes, a drop below the 0.5350 territory here is required. My next target is the 0.53 zone right here. And then we will go from there. Now, that's what I'm aiming for initially, and if we do drop a little bit below it, then yes, we do have another good, nice little target here, which is the low of the 14th of November near the 0.5272 territory, and then we'll go from there. But at the moment, yes, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside. And basically, you might think that this is the interesting bit. Which one's going to be the weaker one? Will it be the Australian dollar or the New Zealand dollar? Because at the moment we're seeing weakness in the New Zealand dollar, so maybe we could see a push, in AUDNZD here to the upside. However, we don't know. Maybe actually the Australian dollar will be the weaker one. So that's why this pair is quite interesting. You can basically. If NZD or AUD are, let's say, the stronger ones that day, you can see, let's say, because they're quite equal in a way, you can see if one is like pushing really strongly, that means that, for example, AUD might be, let's say, if it pushes higher strongly here, then we might see AUD actually pushing higher against other major counterparts. So, if you're trading those pairs, let's say something like Euro AUD, EURNZD, GBP AUD, GBPNZD, you can always have a look at the AUDNZD pair here, which could be that indicator of the strength of one of those pairs. Now, USDJPY, let's jump into now, and boom, there we go. We're clearing the 141.55 territory. My question is, will we stay below it? Because I'm also keeping an eye on the weekly chart. We had already drift lower below that hurdle twice here. So let's see if we can stay below that. For now, it seems like, yes, we will. It seems like we could stay. So if we do continue to trade below the 141.55 territory right here, then yes, I will go further south. So my next target is the 138.06 territory right here, the 138 in general. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. But let's see if we can first reach the psychological 140 zone, and then we'll go from there. If we somehow want to consider some higher levels, well, at this point, I think that the better option is to wait for a break above this downside line. I mean, I said to you that I'm going to leave this whole area here just untouched because I don't like it. And that's, you can see, I was waiting for this one, and there we go. We got that clearance. We got that drop below the 141.55 territory. So now, yes, it is opening the door towards some lower levels. USDCAD, this one continues to slide. Look at this animal. I mean, wow, this is just amazing. I mean, stronger oil is also helping Canadian dollar to, strengthen against its U.S. counterpart. And so far, so good. So look, in general, all this worked out nicely. So I was aiming for the 1.3243. So great. Now what's next? Well, as long as we remain below the 1.3243, I'm going to target the 1.3151 zone right here first, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe we'll end up reaching the lowest point of this year, the current lowest point of this year. Is that correct? Yep, that's correct. However, I don't know if we still have 2 days left of trading, so I don't know, maybe. But don't get your hopes up yet. So look, this is the target. Let me just put this on the chart. I'll mark it. I'll highlight it. So this could be the next target here. So long story short, I don't know if we're gonna reach a new low for this year. So we have 2 days left. So maybe it'll stall somewhere around here and then reverse back up a little bit. So look, for the upside, I think that maybe a push back above the 1.3243 territory could do the trick here. However, I think that maybe actually I need to look at something else instead. This level here, the 1.3220, could be a nice one actually. There we go. And, you know, let's keep it short and simple here. So yes, that's the little hurdle probably from where I will consider a correction to the upside a little bit, not much, but then for the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which I will probably draw this way. However, I don't have the floor yet. I don't know, but if it pops above this zone here, the 1.3220, then yes, I'll consider a move towards the 23.6 here. But again, I don't know if this is the right way to draw the Fibonacci at this point. So let's clear up the chart a little bit from all these lines. I think that they're a little bit in the way. So yeah, that's the situation here. USDCHF, I mean, is it the all-time low? Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I mean, I can see here that's just drifting heavily to the downside. Look, eventually this will have to pick up, but we don't know. So we've cleared the lowest. We cleared the lowest point of this year, guys. We created a new low. I was talking about this little hurdle. I said to you, look, if it's going to hold, we might see a nice, beautiful rebound, but it didn't hold. We dropped and we stayed below it. And yes, it continues to slide. So let me just have a look at the ICE here in Intercontinental Exchange. So let me just see if we're basically near the level. We're at the levels where we saw kind of, you know, that 2015 when the Swiss National Bank untied its currency from the euro, and this is what we saw, the strengthening of the Swiss franc. So now we're seeing something similar, but I think that it's mainly due to the weakness of the dollar. But again, look, at the moment, I think it will have to reverse again to the upside because this could lead to some inflation in the US. And this is what I already talked about in the beginning of this webinar, that inflation is something that we don't want to see. So, but it would perfectly align with the idea of the Fed saying, oh, you know what, we're not going to do 3 cuts, we're going to do 2 cuts again. And then we would see the stock market correcting lower. We could see the US dollars, you know, kind of stabilizing. But because at the moment, yes, it is where it is. Yes, it is weaker and it's pushing further south. At the moment, I don't really have a floor. I don't really have a target. The only thing is I just wanted to run this by you to show you that we fell below this this hurdle. I talked about it last week. And yes, we stayed below it. So now the question is, can we get back above it? If we can somehow, great. Bit of a correction here back up could be possible. US dollar against the Mexican peso. There we go. We cleared the psychological 17 level and we are drifting nicely to the downside. So long story short, for now, I am leaning still, lower. My next target is the 16.69 territory, and then we'll go from there. That's what I'm going to be targeting. So yes, not really doing anything else with this one. If we do somehow climb back above the 17 territory, I will consider a bit of a retracement here back to the upside towards this downside line, which I really don't like. I like it this way. So yeah, I will consider a move back to this downside line if we do. But I get it. It's very close here. So you know what? Rather just consider a move towards the EMAs here. That will be a little bit easier. GBPUSD pop in a way. There we go. So we pushed above the 1.2733 territory. We cleared the 1.28 zone, and we're currently staying above it. So to be honest, as long as we remain above the 1.28 zone, so far so good. Everything, we could still go further north. Look, I talked about this. I had this idea posted here. I said to you, my next target, well, I'm going to be aiming for that psychological 130 zone. This is what I've posted on the 7th of December here on our account. So, and so far it is working out nicely. Let's see if it's going to end up reaching my 1.29 zone and the psychological 1.30 territory. Again, subject to a lot of things happening at the moment. I would say this way that as long as we stay above the 1.28 zone, I am leaning towards the upside. GBPCHF, there we go, beautiful decline. So this one's, yes, we're feeling the strength of the Swiss franc. And yes, I mean, there we go, we are drifting lower. I mean, in general, everybody's buying Swiss franc and Japanese yen. So that's another indication that maybe not everything is good in the economy, because everybody understands that the rally in the stock market cannot continue. So what you normally do when you jump into when the stock market starts reversing, you jump into safe havens, right? And there we go. So one of the safe havens are in the currency field, Swiss franc and Japanese yen, and there we go. Those are getting stronger right now. You can see here as well, we cleared the lowest point of this year, the current lowest point of this year. Or actually not the current, already the previous lowest point of this year. We clear that and we're creating a new one. So at the moment, I am just leaning towards the downside. And to be honest, I really don't know where to aim for at this point. Maybe somewhere here, actually. Maybe somewhere to this level. 1.0735, actually, that's a good one. That's the inside swing high of the 28th of September of last year. So good potential target, actually. So that's what I'm going to aim for initially. Slightly below it, we do have the 1.0720, also good, nice target. So you know what? Let's actually target those levels, and then we'll go from there. For the upside, I think that maybe a push back somewhere above this territory, back over the 1.0783 territory would be nice, and then we'll go from there. EURCHF, I mean, there we go, boom. I talked about this, I said to you, look, wait for this break below this 0.94 territory, and there we go, boom. We got that drop, the 0.9470, 0.9407. We dropped below it, and yes, I mean, continues to slide. So I need to find some sort of a good floor. For now, I mean, I'm not finding it, so just gonna leave it as it is. I'll wait for a bit of a reversal, and then I'll take it from there. So, look, it's the end of the year. It might actually stay like this, so don't just rush into those buys yet. EURNZD, so I keep on talking about this one. It violated the area here again, but on the weekly chart, you can see that it is struggling. So, basically, I need to see a drop below this 1.7463 territory. I need to see it's staying, and at the moment, what I'm noticing that I think I will need to stick to the weekly chart instead. So, in order for me to go lower, I need to see the weekly chart here, the weekly candle staying below this hurdle, and then yes, we could go from there. So basically, on a Friday, it needs to stay below this territory. So let's see if that's going to happen or not. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So it continues to rally beautifully. So 1.1050, we reached that. 1.1065, we reached that. And then my next target is the 1.1150. So let's see if we can reach that target. At the moment, I'm aiming for that one. Look, everything's looking quite nice here, quite attractive. So my question is, can we actually end up reaching that goal? If we can reach that 1.1275 territory, well, that's a lot of move here, but at the moment I'm targeting this 1.1150. Let's see if we can reach that one. But again, at the moment, I would say this way, that if we're looking for some higher levels, yes, that's the game plan. If we're looking for some lower levels in the near term, let's say, you know, to consider maybe a bit of a short correction to the downside, maybe actually just a drop back below the 1.1065 territory here could be nice. If we do fall and stay below it, I'll consider a larger correction here to the downside. And yes, I mean, just a quick look at the treasury notes here. So the U.S. government bond, the 10-year yield, yes, I mean, we are seeing further decline. So it seems like it's not really finding any floor here. And yeah, I mean, at the moment, that means that the stock market could still push a little bit higher unless this starts reversing nicely to the upside. So, long story short, guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. What can I say? Really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments. So yes, I really appreciate that. So join me tomorrow, the last session this year. So we'll see. We'll have like a year recap. So let's see what's gonna happen. But yes, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. If you cannot join tomorrow, then or you know, to watch the recorded session, then happy new year, guys, and I'll see you in the new year. However, like I said, if you can join me tomorrow, I'll wish you the same thing tomorrow. So yes, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.